So, Warlords of Draenor, been out about a week now, and just thought it would be good to share some of my thoughts on it. First of all, if you didn't hear about the launch, it was really quite shaky. I was there for like the midnight launch, which is more closer to I think 11:40, 11:50ish. Definitely was rough. A lot of instance errors. I think there was at least 3 server deconnects slash server crashes during that first, hour. Eventually, after you finish like the main story quest where Too Many Cooks introduces Kargoth Blockheart or Kargoth Bladehand, Garmash Hellscreen, all those guys. You go and you have to build your garrison, which is one of the main features. Oh boy, that was just bleh. I don't know how Blizzard got away with that, really. The system just could not handle the amount of people that were flowing into it. You would try to chop down trees, but like a tree could only be chopped down by one person at a time. So you just have like a queue of 50 people spamming right click on this tree trying to chop it down. Eventually you get all the quests done to the point where you have to build your garrison. And at that point you had to go find some little spyglass to look through sort of thing. Absolutely impossible. Not there was so many people just standing on it with all these crazy different mounts with like vendors stuck on the side and people were just putting down toy trains. Just a mess. It was really the come on Blizz moment for me. There was also the great queues. Oh, but Blizzard at least claims that has to do with the DDoS. So I'll give them some leeway on that. They fixed it up now, so it's fine. Moving on from the launch onto the actual game itself, the story is the first thing, As far as I can tell, someone broke Garrosh Hellscream out of Panda Prison before he went to Panda Trial, and then sent him back into the past in a possible alternate timeline where it's slightly different so Blizzard can write cooler stuff about people, I guess, but not so different enough that Durtan isn't a giant asshole. The story isn't great. It was not the story that brought me back, because I haven't actually played WoW since Wrath, Lich King days. It's definitely cool to see characters that actually kind of matter in the Warcraft universe, per se, that have actually had roles in it and you can actually identify them, As much as Panda 1 and Panda 2 and the Shadowrata of Anger or something, those were the big bad guys in the last one, it was kinda weak. Now, the leveling aspect of this, of Warlords, is actually probably where I've seen the most improvements. It's not just in the leveling, it's also in the areas themselves. They feel more alive. They aren't just go here and kill X amount of boars, then walk back to me, hero. When you go out and do these quests, the majority of them are just story, or you get some random thing on the side. For example, there was a quest to help some tree guy get his sap back or something, I can't remember. And I was like, oh cool. And then he was in my garrison. And I was like, cool, that was a reward I was not expecting. It wasn't told to me at any point. It's not like it wasn't even a quest reward at the end of the thing. And that's really cool. There's also a lot of different hidden areas and bosses and rare spawns around, so there's more than just walking around killing stuff. And for the stuff that is pretty much just walking around killing stuff, they are now no longer main quests, they're bonus quests. So they're just here's an area to kill stuff in. We don't want to try and explain why you have to kill 50,000 or 50 birds. Just do it, And that's kind of a thing I thought was cooler, because I don't really care why you have to kill 50 birds. It's hard to explain why you need to kill 50 birds. So, that's That's how it is, right? The garrison, though. The garrison system is really what brought me into the game. Brought me back for Warlords of Draenor as opposed to Pandaville and whatever Cataclysm. I thought it was a really cool idea, building your own base, because, how did, when you go to Northrend, all of a sudden you get there and within like 3 days, there's this giant fort. And like, you could say like, oh, some of the Alliance forts were reclaimed because the Alliance did have a presence on Northrend, but like, there was some, futuristic looking, well, not futuristic, but distinctly Horde looking metal spiky things that are Horde. You can't mistake them. They weren't Alliance bases that were run down and converted. So it's really cool actually being part of the building up process and having it be customizable. It's nice to be like, hey, I want to focus on this, so you only get that feature. And for levels about 1 to 99, I thought garrisons were great. It was the primary thing propelling me from area to area was unlocking the next set of blueprints or whatever. I then hit level 100. Right? You can unlock the final tier of your garrison to make it so you have all the possible building locations available, and you can start, truly upgrading a system and diversifying what you actually want to focus on. And grinding the last, 500 resources out of the world to try and get my garrison to level 3, because you need, 2,000, and I was constantly spending it on cool stuff along the way. Absolutely was probably my least favorite World of Warcraft experience, if not MMO experience. It was just, eyes drying up, because I've just gone through, 50 of these caches that they hide around the maps, and usually these things have garrison resources. I went through one area, and I got, 700 or so. I got a lot, and then I went to the next area, and I got a couple. Okay, I've got 1,700, I only need 300 more, and it was, I spent 3+ hours trying to get that last. It was just crazy. And, yeah, the garrison resources really limit you, and I kind of don't like that, but whatever, if Blizzard wants it to be yeah, you can only do a certain number of things at a time, trying to do more, and you're screwed. Although, in general, the garrisons probably have exceeded what I expected of them, which is kind of sweet. The best thing is, just recruiting your followers, or to be more exact, the best part of the follower recruitment is when you get, just random traders. I was killing ogres in a fort, and there was an ogre, and he was friendly, and he was like, dude, you've killed all my ogre friends, who am I supposed to trade with? And I was like, well, come to my fort. So I paid him 10 copper, and it's good enough for me. So that was really cool. And there's more and more stuff where you finish quests or find stuff that you wouldn't expect to be part of it, and hey, you now have some tree or ogre or ghost dancing drunk gnome in your base that you can use. And stuff like that's cool. There's also others. I helped out this one dwarf, and he gave me one of those Dark Iron Dwarf drilling machines that is now just covered in advertisements for Dark Iron Dwarves, just right outside my garrison, and that's cool. It also lets me teleport to where I got him from, and cool random functionality that just adds features. There's also a monument system where once you upgrade to tier 3 you get monument totems, and if you get certain achievements you can place a monument there. I haven't got any achievements like that. And then it comes down to, now that I'm level 100, now that I did the horrible grind to get my garrison to level 3, I don't want to grind out the rest of the resources to upgrade everything, so I'll probably do it through more passive measures, because it would just be too much of a pain. I kind of asked myself, what am I supposed to do now? I went and tried to do the World Ashen PvP thing. I didn't give it too much of a chance, but it was just... It felt like, those old school Alterac Valley matches where it's just, you're at the Alliance base, Alliance on one side of the bridge, Horde on the other, and it just sits there. Except this wasn't for, this was I was there for at least half an hour, and it was there's nothing happening. So I don't know if that's just early, people don't have strategies or whatever. That wasn't as cool as I hope. I've never been huge into the dungeons and the raiding of WoW. I did the train one today. Let me just see what it's called. Yeah, Grim Rail Depot. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of cool. You're on this train, but at the same time, it's just a dungeon. You know, it's just instead of having a quest to say kill this guy, you just kill that guy because he drops loot. We went through that. It was So I really am not sure what to do now. My plan is just to keep logging in every once in a while to manage my garrison, and then after that, I don't know. We'll see if it actually will keep me subbed. If I don't find anything besides garrison, you never know, Chris. I might not pay for another month. Anyway, I think that pretty much covers most of my basic thoughts for the first week. Feel free to comment below what you thought, if you thought I was stupid, if you thought you're crazy, man. That train dungeon is the best piece of gameplay in not just World of Warcraft, not just MMO, but in video game history itself. You're free to do that. As always, this YouTube stuff, you've probably heard it 1,000 times. Like, rate, subscribe, whatever.